Welcome back to NSN Tonight. I am Chris Murray in the Champion Chevrolet Studios, and we're going to introduce you to our legendary athlete of the week, TJ Friedl. He's the only Nevada baseball alum to ever get an MVP vote at the major league level. That happened a couple of years ago. TJ, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Let's go through your offseason. So you live in Vegas in the offseason, Nevada Wolfpack alum. I guess what has the offseason consisted of thus far?
Family time. That's mostly it. We just welcomed our second child, Jonah, 4 months ago. And so just get home and go into full dad mode. Soak up my time with them, get to be with them, and get back into the dad routine of the off season, start working out a little bit, and then just started hitting. So kind of progresses as the off season goes on. But for me, most important is just getting back and enjoying the family time.
And what does that family time mean to you? Because obviously once you get into the long season that is an MLB season, it's kind of fully focused on being able to perform at the highest level for the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's a lot about being present. That's kind of like a big word for me that I've held myself accountable to for the past couple off seasons is cherishing my time to get to be at home with the kids, feeding our son late at night, burping him at 3 a.m., all the stuff that my wife does during the season that, she's Wonder Woman for everything that she does during the season to allow me to have the freedom and the peace of mind to go play every day. So for me, I take pride in coming home in the off season and being the one to do that, changing the diapers, feeding, burping at 3 a.m., letting her sleep, letting her rest. So to me, that's family time. Playing with my son at 7 a.m., going outside, playing baseball, things like that. So,
how are you changing those diapers?
So with our oldest, Senan, he's 4. When he was a newborn, I was fantastic. I was incredible. I took a lot of pride in I was glad to say that I was great at it. And then this time around, it was a little slow learning curve getting back into it. I kind of forgot, tucking the diaper underneath, taking the precautionary steps, and had a few accidents so far. But muscle memory has kicked in, so I've gotten better with it.
Let's talk about the season you just came off of. The Reds made the playoffs for the first time since 2020. It was your MLB playoff debut, I guess. How will you soak up and just remember that experience playing the Dodgers in the playoffs on such a big stage?
It was fantastic. You go through 162 games, and that's what you play for. You play to pop champagne, right? And then the clubhouse celebration. And that was my first time getting to experience that at the big league level. And it's definitely a feeling that I'm going to be chasing for the rest of my career. A lot of us in our clubhouse and in our team, we haven't gotten to experience the playoffs. And a lot of us came up through the Reds organization. We're young. Haven't got to experience the playoffs. And so for us, having that feeling of like, hey, we've just worked so hard for 162 games. And for us, it came down to the last day. It came down to that final day. We lost to the Brewers, and I remember racing into the clubhouse to go watch the Mets and the Marlins play. They were in the 9th inning. We all sat there and watched that game, and I was too on edge, so I went into the laundry room in the back. They had it playing in the back, so I went into the laundry room in the back. They had a TV on, and I just kind of sat there and watched the end of the game, and then to go celebrate with all the guys that you've worked with since February 9th in spring training, to celebrate. It was an incredible feeling. And like I said, now we've had that feeling, we've had the taste, and unfortunately going to the playoffs and lost the first 2 games, and didn't get a lot of experience in the playoffs, but it's something that you're going to strive towards year over year. Now you know what it feels like. You get to play in that playoff atmosphere. That's something that we're going to continue to work towards.
I imagine it was a big year for you as well. As I mentioned, 2023, you had a great season. You got an NL MVP vote. 2024, though, a bunch of injuries that piled up. Only got to play 85 games. So to be able to rebound and show that 2023 wasn't like a one-off fluke and that you could be an above-average regular in Major League Baseball. I guess what did this last season mean to you and be able to cap it off with so much team success?
Yeah, and kind of like you said, 2024 was rough. Just dealing with injury after injury, just felt like I was never myself. And I was always battling or keeping myself from injury. And that's just not how I play the game. And that's something I really wanted to get away from this 2025 season, was to take care of my body and do everything I could to put myself in the best possible situation every single day to go out and just play as hard as I can. And so I invested a lot of time into my body last off season and Pilates, yoga, different tailoring my workouts with my trainer here in Vegas to some different things we didn't do before. Um, and I really felt the benefits of that in August. Especially like I always hit a wall at the end of May where like my body has been going through it for a while. And so I hit this tired wall. And this past year I didn't hit that wall. And then I look up in August and I was like, hey, I still feel really good. Like I was 110, 115 games into it at that point, and I was like, I feel phenomenal. Like my body feels good. I'm ready to go every day. I'm mentally clear in the box. And so, I took a lot of pride in being available every day. And from last off season to even during the season, staying on top of Pilates and my workouts and recovery, what I eat, everything to the minor detail. Um, just staying really focused in that. I kind of saw the benefits of that, getting to play a full season, stay healthy a full season, and I'm going to continue to do that.
And you got a lot of highlights throughout the season. I want to take you to June 3rd, though. You're playing the Brewers. You're up by 2. Big shot all the way to the fence. You rob a home run to win a game. I guess, how did that feel, and how does that compare to, like, getting a walk-off hit?
To me, it was significantly. I've had a couple walk-off hits, and robbing a home run to end the game with a tying run on second base. I don't think anything can compare to that feeling. And it was really, really cool because Noelvi Marte did the same thing the last home game of the year against the Pirates. Brian Reynolds hit a ball to right that would have tied the game in a already pretty tough weekend for us against the Pirates. Would have tied the game on a Sunday. No, I'm sorry, it was a Thursday. But would have tied the game, and he was an infielder, moved into the outfield. And me and Will Benson, and we've been working a lot with him on robbing home runs and counting your steps to the track. So to see him do that in the game, if you go back, there's a video of it, you can see his excitement. And I'm just sprinting all the way over to him in right field, just dead sprint. And he's like sprinting at me, and like just the pure joy and emotion in that moment. Like that shows how special it is to rob a home run, let alone to win the game. Nothing really compares to that. So it was special.
So now entering your 6th year with the Cincinnati Reds big league team. I want to take you back, though, when you walked on at Nevada. That's back in 2014. You're out of Pleasanton, so the Bay Area. Just walk us through the process of even getting to Nevada and kind of beginning this journey to where you are right now.
I'm so thankful for that time. I had a good conversation with my dad about kind of the way college sports are now. Just with the NIL or NLI, NIL, like that kind of thing. And for me, walking on, thanks to Buddy Goldschmidt and Gary Powers, who were the ones who kind of put in Jay Johnson's ears, like, hey, keep an eye out for him, to Coach Powers retiring. And then Jay coming in. I didn't know who Jay Johnson was. I had no idea, who he was, or he had no idea who I was. Him giving me the opportunity to just be on the team my freshman year and pinch run, pinch hit, get a couple starts, whatever was needed. And then redshirting my sophomore year. We had a really good outfield my sophomore year. That's the team went 41-15. And I redshirted that year because our team was so talented. And I knew I had to get better. I knew that if I wanted to play on this team, I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave school. I enjoyed my time in Reno so much that I did not want to go back home. I didn't want to try and go to community college. I wanted to stay in Reno because I loved the city. I loved that place. And I loved the community, the college community that was built around Reno. And my friends, right? I had unbelievable friends that were all groomsmen in my wedding that I talk to this day, like lifelong friendships that I'll have forever. But I didn't want to leave that. And I knew I had to get better. I knew I had to work harder if I wanted to be on the team next year, if I wanted to play. And so, me and Mark Nowiczewski, who was recovering from Tommy John that year, and Cooper Powell, who's redshirting with me, we were in the gym every day, working out, getting better. We were there in the dugout with the team. And, I took a lot of pride in coming back the next year. And Jay left and TJ Bruce came in. But that fall of just, I felt confident in all the work I put in. And so when TJ Bruce came in that fall, I just, for me, it was like, hey, let me show him what I can do. Let me show him what I'm capable of. Let me show him what I can do. And he had enough confidence in me and to put me on scholarship for the first time in my collegiate career, my redshirt sophomore year. And then to have the year that I had, I think, it was just a blessing. And it was all just an accumulation of not getting down on myself or not thinking I wasn't good enough, but that I had to get better. And so it's funny you bring that up, because I just had this conversation with my dad, and just how grateful and thankful I am that I had those experiences in Reno.
Yeah, so you go from walk-on your first year, you play just a little bit, you redshirt that second year because maybe not quite good enough to play on that loaded team. Then you hit 401 your third year in the program, don't know that you're draft eligible, so you kind of fly underneath the radar with the draft. But you go to a Team USA camp and you really excel there and you make the team. And then the Cincinnati Reds are like, oh, this guy's draft eligible. We've got about $750,000. We can sign him. So then you go to the professional ranks after that. It's a pretty remarkable and amazing story. I guess to you, what's like kind of the most interesting part of that story, or just the most remarkable aspect of your journey into a professional organization and now where you are now?
Yeah, I think the most interesting part was probably I remember I was with Bryce Greger and his mom in Arizona, and I believe this was right before the Mountain West Conference tournament. And that redshirt sophomore year, my last year at Reno, and I had never talked to a scout ever. I never did a questionnaire. I never did any of that. And then I get a call from a random number, and I answer it. He was like, hey, I know the draft's coming up. What would you say to us drafting you this year? And I literally told this guy, I was like, oh, that'd be sweet, but I'm not draft eligible. He's talking to me on the phone. He's like, yeah, this is your third year at Reno, right? I've seen you for 3 years. And I was like, yeah, but I'm a sophomore. I'm not 21 yet. So here I am telling this MLB scout that I can't be drafted. And he's like, yeah, you can. You could be drafted. And so that was probably one of the funnier parts of it, was me not knowing I was draft eligible, but I had never talked to anybody about it. And I thought I had to be 21 to basically say no. I didn't have an agent. I didn't know anything about the draft process. I lived with Trenton Brooks, Evan McMahon, Mark Nowiczewski, Cooper Powell, all these guys who all fall were filling out questionnaires for the draft. So I see them doing all this, and I was like, I've never done anything like that. I don't know about the draft. To basically saying no, going to Team USA, and then in a span of a week, pretty much talking to all 30 MLB teams about signing as a free agent and learning that process of how that all worked. And that week in LA, which was the Team USA trials, basically, where we just did a bunch of inter-squad scrimmages and I'm playing with a bunch of guys who are going to be drafted first round of 2017. Here I am learning that I could be a free agent in 2016, talking to all these teams and stuff. It was just it was a whirlwind. There was so much going on, and I'm trying to make this Team USA team because I want to go to Taiwan, Japan, and Cuba, and I'm like, this is such a cool experience. I want to enjoy this, and it was just something I'll forever be grateful for, the rest of my life. And it's something it's a story I'll always get to tell.
And then when you agreed to walk on at Nevada, to know where you are now, I guess, would you have believed that story? How surreal is it that you're playing against Shohei Ohtani in the playoffs and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and all that?
Yeah, I tell my wife all the time, when we first started talking and when we first started dating was the fall of 2015, when I was first told I was redshirting. I was going to be a finance major at Reno and go off and do something in business. And that's when me and her first started dating. And pretty frequently, I'd take a step back, or me and her, we take a step back and look at the life that we built together and kind of look where we are. And, she asked me, I asked her, do you ever think we'd be here in 2015? When we were college kids, didn't know what was ahead of us. And, it's emotional for me and her because if you ask me in 2015, when I was told to redshirt, at that point, I was like, hey, I'm going to work hard to make the team and stuff, but I didn't know what the future held. So, yeah, like I said, it was just an incredible blessing for me, and I'm so grateful for every opportunity.
So working hard just to get a spot on Nevada's roster all the way to being one of the best players on the playoff team. Thank you so much for taking some time out. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished and your incredible story, and enjoy that family time before you got to head over to spring training in a couple of months.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back on NSN Tonight after this break.